It'd be great if you guys could have a seat so that I can introduce you. Great. So let's start off with some quick introductions. I thought I'll introduce you a bit. Forgive me if I don't do a great job of it. So, as Komal mentioned, I think what we really figured was that over the last couple of years that we've kind of existed, and what we've been able to do with the various freelancers, consultants, or solopreneurs, like we like to call it, on our platform, and seeing them work with so many businesses has been a fascinating journey, right? But what we realized is that we unfortunately though only interact with each other, especially majority of our team, only via emails, calls, and so on and so forth, right? So we thought we would bridge this gap and bring some of our users to our HQ and try and learn from your experiences and also learn where we could do better. So firstly, thank you so much, both of you, for taking out time and coming over. So if we can very quickly start off with some very crisp intros on how, a bit about your journey, respective journeys, and how did you kind of become a freelancer. It'll be great to kind of kick it off, and we'll take it from there.
Hi everybody, my name is Anuradha. So October is my anniversary week because I entered the industry in October 1999. That's rather ancient, no? 20 years. So the first 10 years of my IT journey was in the corporate, the regular rigmarole of corporate life. So about 1.5 years in TCS off campus, and then I got a job in Huawei, which was like 5 times, 6 times the salary of TCS, and I was like, awesome. So I went to Huawei and I spent about 9-10 years there. And I was awfully successful, really successful. So the growth was exponential, and you're making a lot of money, and you're not even 30, and you're living in an apartment and a car and this and that. But after some time, you tend to become very straitjacketed, and you're investing too much of your time doing the same thing. I was already system architect, and I was at the peak of my technology cycle. And I felt that, there is a glass ceiling above me beyond which I'm not able to grow as an individual. I'm becoming very one-dimensional. So this is typically called as a midlife crisis, It rather hit me a little early. So by the time I was 30, I was like, no, I can't do this any longer. Let me get out of the race when I'm at the top of it. So I quit, and it was a rather difficult thing to do because, family and friends, say, class, what's the way, you want to quit a high-flying career and sit at home. So it was like, 10 years back, freelancing was not cool. Not at all cool. So it was, people thought I'm making a stupid decision. But I stuck by it, and then I did an MBA in HR because I wanted to get the non-IT side of the tech business, So I became more well-rounded as a technology person. And my strength has always been, that's one thing I figured out pretty early, but my strength has always been articulation. Clarity of thought, putting it in words, writing, talking. So that's always been my strength, right from school. So even in company, I'm very, very good with that. So I thought, why not make a life out of it? So I was good at tech, I'm good at talking. So that the combination is, I obviously thought, becoming a corporate trainer is a natural consequence. So that's what I do even now. It's 10 years now, I'm still doing corporate training. And it keeps me on top of the technology curve because I get to know all the cool things that are in the market now, the machine learning and NLP and IoT and all that stuff. And at the same time, I realized one thing pretty early, that I don't want to burn out. So I kind of limited my, and more importantly, Bangalore's traffic. I can't imagine myself on the streets every day. So I don't do more than 10 to 12 days of outdoor work. The rest of the time I'm chilling out at home. Writing, content writing primarily. I do consultancy also. So that's it, 10 years, and it's going fine. So I'm living proof that freelancing works, and it works in the long term.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So Siddharth, it would be great if you could also shed some light. You spent considerably less time than a decade, I understand, but when you were curating this set of panel, the thought process was that let's get one person who's done this since forever and let's get somebody who's just kind of kicked off. So it would be great for us to hear a bit about your journey.
Sure. So I started my journey in the industry from 2015 January, and I was working for a company in Bangalore itself, and I worked there for 2 years, and after that I planned to quit. So that was the first time I tried with freelancing, and so I went back home, and then I tried for 6 months from home, and it was quite not too successful, I would say. It was fine. I got a few projects.
And follow people.
That time my network was not too strong, and I feel my place is in a very remote area where you don't have connectivity and networking of the same field. So that was the problem there. So I came back, I joined another company just to restart and get more network. So again last year June I had to quit my job because I decided to I thought let me try once more with freelancing, and that's when I started again, and I got a couple of few projects, and then I got associated with Tap Chief, and that's how
Awesome. So I think one of the things that every single time I've spoken to anybody who does independent work and doesn't really work for a company is that they all uniquely talk about the struggles to get that first customer or the first client, right? Can you guys I know you spoke about it a bit, but if you can elaborate slightly on what did it really take for you to get that first customer?
Sure. So yeah, as you said, getting the first gig is always very tough. So when I started with freelancing, I jumped into the platforms like Upwork and then freelancer.com and all those stuff. So I was sending out proposals. I sent out many proposals, but none turned up to be good. So I was really clueless what I was doing wrong, and to be honest, even now I'm really unsure how to get projects from Upwork or freelancer.com. Yeah, it doesn't work actually. So my analysis on how to get your first job is to build your network first before jumping to freelancing. First is that thing. Second, even if you have to do some part of the project for almost for free, go ahead with it. We should not think that okay, I'm not getting any benefit out of it, but in turn it's building a portfolio. So that way it's helping. Yeah, that's what is my point.
So did you have to do certain things for free or much less than what you already charged initially?
Yeah, initially I had to do a few projects for almost negligible amount of cost, and yeah.
Got it. If you could shed light on first customer.
My story is probably full time, because my first customer was Huawei itself. So actually I used to do a lot of induction training when I was inside Huawei. So when I quit, my director was like, who will take out induction training from tomorrow and I'm going to be in trouble. I said, I'll do it for you from outside. So my story was exactly the opposite. I was doing it free of cost as long as I was inside Huawei. After coming out, I got paid for it.
Okay, interesting. So the other piece, right, which is again a huge point of concern on actually both sides, to be fair, both on businesses as well as freelancers or individuals themselves, is the lack of trust that exists. India obviously is a huge, highly trust deficit market, and I guess it compounds with freelancing, right? So what were some things that you kind of maybe started initially as well as you continue to do today, to bridge that trust deficit between, especially when it's a new customer who's never known you and so on?
Well, a couple of things that a freelancer has to keep in mind is there's no space for mediocrity in freelancing. You know? Whatever you do, you have to be extremely good at. Otherwise, there's no brand behind you, there's no company behind you, to vouch for your skills or excellence. So that first job that you do for a client, it might be a small sneak peek into a bigger job. We might give you a small trial run or a small, whatever it is, it has to be fantastic. And more importantly, it has to be within time. So if you can do that, the value add that you show, customers are quick to realize value add. If you're able to value add to Mr. And another thing you need to remember is, for that small duration of time, you put yourself in the customer's company's domain. You think like a customer's employee. You think like one among them. And you have to genuinely empathize with his business and figure out what works for him. That's the only way he will trust you. Because you're not thinking about yourself in that position. You're thinking about yourself as an employee or as a stakeholder in his success. The moment you start thinking like that, you deliver a lot more than what he expects. So in that moment, he realizes that, even the employee is not so committed to what he's doing. And outsider is able to deliver more than what I expect. So that kind of value add is quick to perceive. So it's very important to remember that, that commitment that you show in your first step. You're always supposed to be showing high commitment, right? High commitment, punctuality. Two things are very important.
Awesome. So Siddharth, as a developer, right, I think, of course, we have a lot of engineers ourselves, and whenever I speak to them about, especially various aspects, working remotely and so on and so forth, one thing that comes up is that there is, especially when you kind of kicking off a project, there's a lot of struggle to kind of do that remotely. What's your perspective on that? How has that throughout your, especially when you've been working with customers, I know you spoke of some abroad customers as well and so on. How do you kind of bridge that gap to start, ensure that the project goes seamlessly, right?
To get started with a project, it's very important to get connected with the customer properly, the client properly. So probably getting to the client space, few of times in a week, and then getting to know about the project and working closely with the client is very important in the beginning, so that you have enough amount of data to go into a autopilot kind of thing. So yeah.
Got it. And again, so we again took a few questions which we thought need to be addressed, right? And one of the questions again we keep hearing every single time our team speaks to a lot of the independent workers is, when we tell them, hey, here's a project, just put your skills, why don't you take this up, etc., etc. And ultimately, when it comes to the proposal, the most time-taking thing I have noticed is, or the most common question they come back to us with is, hey, how much are we charging, right? So for each of you, right, I would love to get both of your perspective on this, because as a developer, I'm sure it must be very different versus a corporate trainer and as a writer and so on, right? So how do you initially charge? How do you charge today? Has it changed over time? Or by virtue of the portfolio you build, the customer clientele that you can kind of showcase, etc. How does, take us through your pricing journey, if possible.
Pricing journey has been quite colorful. Because I didn't have to do too many things for free, thankfully, because I probably had 10 years under my belt already. So I was already established in the industry, and I had a lot of my friends were quitting along with me and coming out with startups, and they were like, hey, can you do a little bit of this for me? Can you do a little bit of that for me? So I didn't have to do too many things for free. But yes, my pricing has been very unorthodox. So for a very similar job, I would price a pricey client a lot, and a struggling startup probably 1/10 of that. And I have absolutely no qualms in that. The output, the quality of the output, the effort you put in, the commitment you put in is exactly the same. But this guy needs your support, that guy doesn't. So this is something is more to do with ethics than, the material aspect of it. So I've always been working on that model. So when I see a startup with great potential, but who is not able to pay me today, so I'm like, okay, no problem. Don't pay me today, you pay me 6 months later. I'll work for you first, you see the value add, and then you can come back and pay me. Mostly these kind of clients have been people whom I know, acquaintances who are not just going to run off with my work. And these kind of investments have really paid off. Okay? That's one thing. The other thing is, how do you, basically for freelancers, time is money, right? You're 8 hours a day, or these guys work for 13 hours, 14 hours, I don't. I was telling them before the meet today that, guys, please don't burn out. Probably I'm the oldest person in this room. I'm telling you, don't burn out. One of the reasons why I chose freelancing was because I didn't want to have a 14-hour day, working day. So I'm like max 9 hours, max. Especially corporate training, I do 9 hours max. In fact, talking for 9 hours is not easy at all. So I'm talking about 9 hours, which includes your lunch breaks and all that. For 9 hours, that's my longest day. And otherwise, the working day is never more than 7 to 8 hours. I never invest more than that. How much more money I make out of that? I'm very happy. So I don't burn out. That's one reason for my longevity. The other thing is, the different skill sets that I possess, all of them don't pay similarly. Corporate training pays a lot. And especially because, you go for a 3-day session, 4-day session, and like, yeah, you pay a lakh. So that's easy way to get money. But at the same time, when you do content writing, how much of writing can you do in a day? You can write, there's something called writer's block. You can't just go on writing, you can't write a command in a day. So in that way, I cannot monetize my day the same way as I monetize my day when I'm doing training. So if I think, oh my god, if I had invested today doing training instead of doing writing, I would have earned 10 times more. That's a stupid way of thinking at least. So you have to price your time as well as effort, as well as the balance that you want to achieve. So I'm perfectly okay with pricing differently for different clients, for different skill sets. It's okay to price per hour, but it's also important to what is the value add that you get out of it? Are you learning as a person? Is it adding value to your portfolio? These things also matter. So pricing is a very dynamic affair, and it's probably very evolutionary. Everybody has their own mechanisms. But yes, we do have ballpark rates, like, for writing we say, oh, okay, you pay me 2 rupees per word, or 3 rupees per word, and corporate training we say, you pay me, 20K per day. These kind of ballpark figures exist, but they are not the norm at all. They may give hugely.
Got it. And Siddharth, again, as a developer, right, I know I keep going back to that, but because it's really fascinating to understand, because, if you just spend any time walking across Kodamla or another HSR, you will see across many trees 50,000 rupees for an e-commerce website, right? Or some say 9999 and making a data price and stuff. So when you're kind of competing against that kind of price cutting, say somewhere on a couple of platforms online and so on, how has that been for you from when you started to today? How do you go about pricing? You kind of charge per hour, do you charge per project, do you charge on a monthly basis? What do you typically do?
So there are I have worked in all kinds of formats there. So I have charged in hourly basis as well, so in monthly basis as well. So it was fixed cost projects also I have worked in. So in the starting, as I said, I had to work for a couple of few projects for almost for free. So that's how I think a very new developer or a person who is very new to the industry like me should start with, because it helps building trust with the client. Then as you build your portfolio with having few projects and couple of few good names attached to your portfolio, then you can probably charge a proper amount or a decent amount.
Yeah. So now that you've spoken of pricing, now let's just very quickly dive into, how do you discover new clients, right? What are some of the key channels / strategies that you use respectively in order to get a new customer? Because I'm sure some customers would have started out with over a period of time maybe go cold and may not have work for you and so on, right? So you need to keep discovering and become a salesperson at the end of the day in some form for yourself, right? So what are some channels that you use which typically help you?
As I said, getting first project was always difficult there. To get new clients, it was very important that I had to network.
And when you say network, is it like meetups such as these? Is it conferences? What is it typically?
No, most of the projects which I got was through my existing network, which was through my old colleagues, probably college friends, or my old employers whom I worked for. So yeah, from those were the sources from where I got the freelancing projects from, and yeah, it's very soon. Actually, I've been working only for 1 year, so I think Anuradha will be able to explain more on that. Yeah, so this is what, based on my 1 year of experience with freelancing.
Sure.
Customers, as he said, the most valuable network is your professional network. So your colleagues who've been with you, who've seen you work, who know your skill set, and who know your, that's the best way to start. So they can vouch for you and they've seen your work, right? College friends, when I passed out, we didn't have mobile phones, so we lost touch with a lot of our friends, and now we're slowly coming back, and you're like, hey, you're here, you're already director there, okay. So, but there's a thin line between exploiting personal acquaintances for professional gain, right? So that's a tricky space to be in. You can't go to a chacha or a mama who's doing a big thing and say, come on, take me in for this job, you know. Unless you add merit, why would they do that? So it's not fair. So I wouldn't recommend exploiting personal channels. Professional channels, yes. There's one thing that you need to, it's a necessary evil, you have to know a lot of, what can I say, to help with modesty, you have to talk a lot of your own merits, you know. So you can't afford to be like, you know, cool and you can't do all that. So you will have to be very brash about what you know and what you can do, and you know, because that's what they are here to hear. So if you're good at something, you say I'm good at it. So and you should be a good judge of your own skill set. If you can do that, then it's okay to do a little bit of self-marketing. How much effort you want to do about that is again the best place to market yourself is your work itself. One successful project under your belt is worth 10 marketing attempts, initiatives. Just one successful project under your portfolio and you could have seen it. One of the biggest examples for me was, I do a lot of work for colleges and universities and stuff like that. So I do a lot of faculty development programs and all. So when I go for these, especially the knowledge gap between the industry and the academia, you've heard a lot about this, right? Colleges teach shitty stuff. Okay, it's almost worthless. And then you come out and the companies expect the more out of you to do anything. So there's a huge gap. So that space is one space where I operate in a lot. So in that space, I happen to do a couple of faculty development programs where, you know, a lot of faculties came from many universities. So they went to their own universities and said, hey, this lady came there and she did a good job, why don't we call her? So, you know, the word spreads. So if you can go to events where there is a diverse group that is congregating, you know, that's one place where you can attract a lot of business. So these symposiums and startup hackathons and these kind of places are good places to be. You know, where there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of interaction.
And how important, so both of you spoke a lot about physically being at different places, meetups, conferences and so on and so forth, right? But obviously increasingly we are in a ever-growing digital world, and a lot of, you know, personal as well as professional identity is built and perceived basis how you are on various platforms. So what are some platforms you use to kind of project yourself digitally? Of course, beyond that thing. And you know, what are some things you do to kind of create a personal brand digitally as well, to take what you've been able to create in a hyper-local manner?
I made a conscious decision some time back saying I want to be anonymous as far as possible. Okay? that's one reason why I don't have a company of my own. I'm still operating as an individual, you know. So I didn't want to stay. I don't want to be responsible for 10 people under me. So these are all conscious decisions I made. So I don't have a website of my own. Unless you are, you know, an acquaintance, you'll probably not hear of me at all. I'm okay with this mode because it's probably luck, it's probably a chance. I haven't had to go out of my way to look for work. Do a good job and it so happens people come looking for your work, and it's always been that way for me. So the only digital space that I probably existed is LinkedIn. And even on LinkedIn I'm like, you know, on and off. I'm not like totally active about it. But there's one thing that you know, the person, I'm 20 years in the industry, I'm 41 years old now. So you can imagine most of my friends, most of my acquaintances will be directors and VPs and heads of C startups, you know, they're big guys, you know. So my connects are also like that in LinkedIn. So the kind of reach I have digitally is very minimal but very effective. Because the kind of people I'm linked to are very strong and very influential. And I get a lot of anonymous messages on LinkedIn saying, ma'am, I saw your profile, or I do a lot of writing, right?
I'm sure you also reach out that way.
You reach out that way, right? Yeah, I reach out that way. I do a lot of writing. So that's one, probably that's an advantage that I have. That my skill acts as a lovely showcase of my efforts, you know. So because I write, my articles are out there in the domain. So as an individual, you don't know me, but you see my articles. So it's easy to vouch for my skill set. It's easy to vouch for my merit, which is to print my article. You know what I can do. So that's probably one skill which is really helping. So it's a reciprocal thing, you know. A lot of people have read my tech articles and said, hey, you're good at this, why don't you do it anything? So it's been like that. So I always believe in work is the best showcase of your skill set, and LinkedIn is one. And I was just telling Shashank a little earlier that TapChief as of now is probably in a space where there is not really any formalization, right? As you were saying, there's a lot of trust deficit with the middleman thing in India. You know, anybody who's operating in the middle space, oil prices are up, you say, "Arey, yeah, these middlemen, they must be holding on this." So we have this trust deficit towards people who are operating in the middle space. So we think they don't add value. It's not true. You guys really add value. You guys are, you know, my gateway to the outside world. You know. So I'm sitting at home, and you are telling me that so and so needs me this, so and so needs that. So that is a huge value that you're adding to me. So if you can formalize this process, and if you can, you know, build a history of successful clients and a dashboard where I can see all my projects and what is the effectiveness that I have delivered over the years. It's a lovely space to be in. So I was just telling him earlier that I'm probably going to talk about, you know, how you've added value, because I think both of us are success stories for TapChief, right? That's the primary reason why we are here, right? So you should probably showcasing some failures also. But so the reason why I think you are in the right space is because as of now, the only effective tool, as you were saying, Upwork and Fiverr and all this nonsense doesn't work. It doesn't work, and Ulta actually drains a lot of time. Because there's too much of time you need to invest.
What do you hate the most about it? Because both of you have mentioned it a couple of times now. And for everybody in the team, right from... Sorry?
They're very intrusive.
Yeah.
So the one thing I liked about TapChief was because you guys are effectively managing the gap between me and the client, but you're being non-intrusive about it. So pushing your agenda and, you know, trying to, that doesn't work because it's a waste of time essentially, right? Your agenda is my success and the client's success. If both of us are successful, you're successful. So you don't need to have a parallel agenda at all. But that, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way with these freelancing websites. You know, they're doing a lot of marketing alongside, and they're doing a lot of lobbying, and it's a lot of probably when you scale up to that level, probably these things automatically creep in. They must have also started off effectively, probably. But by the time these guys came to India, they were already too big, right? So I don't see, I've never heard of anybody from my network who said, hey, these guys are good, you get good work from them. No.
Okay.
So that's a good plus one for that.
I don't know, trust me guys, I didn't ask them to say all this. But, so Siddharth, one thing you told me when we were chatting earlier, interestingly, was that now that you spent some time as an individual, now you're seeing that the natural next step is for you to kind of start an agency of your own or a studio of your own, and build on top. What is the motivation behind that decision? Like, how does it, like, I don't want to be responsible for people. So would love to understand that piece. What is the thought process from going to an individual to kind of like an owner or stuff?
Yeah. So since 1 year I have been working alone, and I thought this is really not scalable. How much of work could I alone do? As in, if I work even 24 hours, how many projects could I even take? So that's really not scalable. So the next obvious step which I thought was to get an agency up, hire a few people, and get started with getting more projects and then getting it done. Yeah, so that was the whole thought process behind it.
Awesome. And so, we've spoken a lot of interesting insight and stuff, right? But just to slightly go a little chill about it, I don't know, I couldn't find the right word, but basically, could you share some anecdotes from either a very testing customer or something which you planned to go one way but then went entirely in another direction, etc. Anything which is help us, maybe share a laugh with all of us.
Okay, so this was a workshop on machine learning for Bangalore University, and it was supposed to be a workshop for faculty because the faculty would admit publicly that they don't know anything, and the problem was the students were desperate to come to. So they were like, what the hell, why should only faculty get the advantage of a workshop? We want to crash it, they game crash it. So it turned out to be hilarious because the faculty were asking ridiculously silly questions on basics of compiler design and basics of things which a student could assume that the faculty should know. And they were asking ridiculously silly questions. And the students were like, yeah, इसको ये भी नहीं आता. So then it turned out to be a very, in fact, in hindsight, the Vice Chancellor once told me that you opened a Pandora's box now, and now all my faculty just scared to enter their classrooms because they see these fellows are, they're going to outsmart me. It's true actually. So the internet is a great leveler. What a faculty is exposed to, a student is also exposed to. I can see the internet and learn stuff. My student is also doing the same thing. How do I claim to be a teacher with more information to offer when compared to students? So this is one serious issue that started off hilariously, but now actually the repercussions are turning out to be rather serious.
Okay. So at least before I take it to the audience for the Q&A, I thought I actually had two questions, right? One was, we've spoken a lot from your perspective, from the independent worker, from the individual, and hopefully an agency, and so on, right? But when we look at clients, and which are effectively today organizations, right? Of all kinds, of all sizes, like you spoke of, I work with small startups, or all the way up to rise of the world. What do you think they're getting right about freelancing and independent working, and what do you think they're not getting so right? With especially customers. What do you think customers can do better in order for this to work well? Because at least at Tapchi, our fundamental belief is that to solve India's ever-growing unemployment problems, to solve the crazy ambitious goals we all have on growing into a $5 billion economy, and so on and so forth, it's almost clear that it's impossible without, freelancing and the whole concept of solopreneurship taking a lot of, a spike over the coming years, right? Because there's virtually no way to generate those many jobs for the workforce that's coming into the picture. So, which means that businesses and organizations need to become far more receptive and understanding about this, right? So, you know, if you had to make a couple of suggestions to businesses who are bringing on independent workers, what would they be? Like, would be great for both of you to, you know, share a few things which hopefully we can go out and tell our customers that, you know, these are important things. I'm not too sure about it, but I feel when we are working as a freelancer, we are not completely part of that company, that client, and the client really does not always address that. And so the reason we have chosen to be a freelancer is that we don't want to be a part of or don't want to be treated as an employee or picking up every small thing or things like that. And that was the reason, that's pretty much the reason people come out of a company and do freelancing. Yeah, so that kind of understanding is really not present in the clients right now. That's what is my thought right now.
I'd probably say response times. Response times from the client, they tend to be very poor when it comes to interacting with freelancers. They assume that a freelancer is at my beck and call. You know? So they will take a long time to get back to you, but they expect instantaneous results from the freelancer. So this imbalance of respecting a freelancer's time is probably one thing that they need to know. Because they have a lot of overhead stuff for doing these communication and coordination and, you know, pricing and that. They have to do everything ourselves. So I'm my own tune, I'm my own CEO, I have to do everything myself. So because of that, we lose a lot of time in waiting. Because when we commit to a gig, you're not supposed to be taking up something else, right? Because you already partitioned your time saying, okay, I have to spend this X number of hours on this job. But when the job doesn't come through as planned, then your whole planning goes for a toss, you know. So I feel the biggest thing that hits a freelancer is clients can improve that aspect. If they learn to work with freelancers in a time-bound manner, the way they would work with their end customers, treat us on par, that would be mutually beneficial, both for us and both for them.
Awesome. So the last theme, at least, I wanted to, you know, bring about, right? Again, is, of course, both of you have chosen to do this for vivid reasons. But I think one thing that, you know, we keep reading a lot, we hear from our own users, and it's becoming, where, especially in the West, where freelancing and independent working has already hit considerable scale. So obviously they have more first world problems than us, for sure. But I think one important problem which a lot of them are now kind of is coming to the fore is the aspect of loneliness, is the aspect of not having sufficient company which you would typically have at a workplace if you were a full-time employee, right? So how detrimental do you think that is? What are some hacks you guys have developed in order to, you know, maybe not have that, etc., right? And I know Siddharth was talking a lot about that previously. So yeah, would yeah. So we have many training sessions.
So yeah, I will start with that the basic problem that freelancers face is isolation. To overcome, one of the things that I have adopted is going to a co-working space and then networking in a co-working space, getting into an environment where people work and basically have a little chit chat with other people. Yeah, and for me the most important problem was I was not able to work from home at all, and otherwise isolation. So yeah, these two reasons led me to take up a co-working space and then work from there. Yeah.
Awesome. But I know for a fact that you work purely from home, right? So let me yeah, of course. So let me just tweak that question, right? Now, when you're working from home, how do you kind of differentiate? Okay, these are my work timings. These are my non-work timings where I don't know, spend time with family and so on, right? So do you like have fixed routines, that schedule? You know, how do you go about it?
I believe that freelancers have to be very good time managers. Otherwise, you're screwing up your personal life and you're not effective professionally. So you should be good at partitioning your time. Because as I told you, you have to do a lot of your own follow-ups. So I have kind of a routine. So mostly client calls, interactions, I try to schedule them in the afternoon, post-lunch. So I finish my morning and housewives, for all practical purposes, I'm a housewife, right? So I'm at home. So I'm supposed to be spending X amount of time on my regular routine, my household. And one reason why I quit my job was because I realized that that is a precious part of your life. And that's not something to be put on the back burner at all. So no compromise on cooking, no compromise on household work, nothing at all. But yes, I close my kitchen at 9 in the morning and I'm out. And after that I probably go only much later in the evening. So it's like that. So first thing is to partition your personal and professional time. Within the professional time, I don't work on weekends at any cost. If you give me a crore of rupees, I don't work in the weekends. I make sure that my job doesn't spill over to the weekend also. Because and I'm a good judge of my effort. So if I say I finish this work in 2 days, I know that I finished this work in 2 days. It's probably a reason why I've been in the industry for a while. So I'm a good judge of my effort. So I very clearly spill over my tasks. So I finish on time. So I generally try, I'm very effective in the mornings. I'm very productive in the mornings. So I finish my homework and I'm just sitting in front of the computer, and mornings are my writing time and coordinating time or doing research on my customers' products and things like that. Afternoons I do my calls and online trainings and those kind of things. When I'm on a corporate training routine, then the routine is completely different. The whole day is very dedicated to corporate training. So I never do more than 4 days of corporate training at a stretch because it's a very taxing job. The company is somewhere 20 kilometers away, you drive up and drive down and then you stand there for 9 hours and it's very taxing. See, I never do more than 4 days at a stretch. So, and I as an individual, I'm an extrovert, I don't have any problems with interacting with people and me time and my time, and I don't have any such problems. I've never had these issues. One of the reasons is because I don't work 14 hours a day, like these fellows. So I am like, my day ends at 8 hours, Come what may, I will not work more than 8 hours. As I told you, corporate training is the longest day I do, 9 hours, 10 hours, max. And that itself with a grudge, I'll be like, so I'll be in that mode. So I never work 8 hours. I was also 20 once, I was also 30 once. So in those years, yes, I've done my bit. I've done my bit of 13-hour weekdays. I'm not doing that anymore. So now I don't have any problem in time sharing because writing is cool. Half the things you write out of habit. TV chal raha hai, and you can write in front of the TV, it's fine with me. But yes, when you work entirely from home, your chachi, mommy, is walking around and you're having a client call and it doesn't look professional. So I have a dedicated space in my house where sort of looks professional. If you have a video call, nothing weird is happening behind. So I have that kind of designated home space. But otherwise what? I just need a comp, I don't need anything else. But I do a fair amount of coding also. So that is like my personal technical time. So that I try to do at late hours. When gone anything else. But otherwise I'm very balanced with work. I never overdo it. I'm done with my overdo.
I think all of us are super envious and also a bit scared about how are we going to get this routine at some point in our lives. but yeah, that's great. So I think people are also kind of had enough of hearing me answer questions. So let's very quickly kind of jump with folks here to kind of shoot a bunch of questions, guys. Hopefully you ask slightly tougher ones than I could, so that we can kind of definitely leverage more of your visit here. So if somebody could kind of, please.
You did mention that TAPCHIEF is not intrusive, but I would still like to know how often and how intensely do they meddle when a project is going on, or like how does it go?
Okay, it depends on the nature of work actually. See, some of the clients, the middle guys, the agencies, they don't want the client to discover that the entire idea has come from the freelancer. So then they're insecure about their position in the whole value chain. They think that tomorrow the customer might directly get in touch with this guy and then he might rule me out. So because of that reason, they tend to withhold information sometimes. So that's a stupid thing to do, because the end result is not going to be good enough and you're not going to get a repeat client. So you're actually being self-destructive there. But this is one thing that they do. So because of that, what they try to do is they over-communicate, and they're ineffective in their communication because they're trying to withhold information. They're not being crisp and concise. Instead, they try to be overarching. They try to pretend as though they're doing a lot more than what is required to be done. So that's one thing which is very common with the guys in the middle.
Okay, I think she was asking a question specifically about us.
About you, I don't remember when this was, about 3 weeks back maybe. I had posted a thank you post on LinkedIn, and that was on my own account. It was not prompted from you guys. So I had posted a thank you post on LinkedIn because I had a couple of 2-3 assignments with ChatGPT, and the way things have happened is, it's been like a smooth autopilot kind of thing. So I've never had to restrain the communication on any side, or at the same time worry about, if am I getting the entire picture from the client side. So the person who was interacting with me, a couple of guys, if I can remember their names, I think it started with Aditi, then Komal, then Kumar, and who else? And of course now it's been Komal from the past 2 days, and who else? Madhusha, primarily. So these guys have been very helpful. You can feel that they empathize with you. They understand, they value your efforts, they value your time. And that's one thing that prompted me to come out of my own accord and say, thank you guys, you're doing a good job.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, so if we can just get to the next question. I saw a couple of hands which went up at that time. Yeah, please, Ajay.
Hi guys, my name is Ajay. First of all, thank you for sharing your experience around with us. So I have a very interesting and a confusing question that I personally face. A lot of times you see these projects coming into you that are very exciting in terms of how they sound. But maybe you're 80% sure that you'll be able to nail it, but not 20% certain about it, right? I want to understand what is the better approach around it, because now because you're the sole person managing the entire thing, you wouldn't have a co-partner working on it. How do you approach a problem like this where you're very excited to think about the project, but not really sure if you'll be able to do absolute justice in that?
Siddharth, if you can. Because I know Ajay.
Sure. As you said, when you're 80% sure, I would definitely recommend you to take it up. When the percentage when you think that you will, there is 50% of chance that you will or will not be able to take that up, you should probably talk to someone in your network and then discuss about the project and think about the challenges that you might face with it, and then decide on whether you should take it or not.
The other also had a question.
So Anurag, I have a question for you.
Your name?
My name's Ajay as well, yeah. So I guess you've been freelancing for a while now, right? So as per your experience, how is the difference between working for a client who's based overseas while you're based in India compared to working for a client who's based out of India, in terms of the whole experience and in terms of the level of trust and comfort from the client's end in general?
It's sad but true, but yes, overseas clients are a lot more professional with freelancers. It's probably because the industry has matured with freelancers for a while now. We are at the the adolescent phase of freelancing, right? So we can't really blame our ecosystem. They're getting there, but those guys have figured it out actually. The best part of their approach to work is straight talk, no bakwas. If your work is bad, they're brutal about it. They're like, what the hell have you done? I can't come back to you. So that is a very useful way of handling things, So when I worked with clients overseas, the overhead time has been minimal. Whereas when you work with clients in India, there's so much of dilly-dallying and mails going forth and coming and that kind of, as far as freelancer is concerned, communication is non-productive effort, right? Because you're not earning for that time. So this is an area where the Indian entrepreneur has not yet woken up to. They don't realize that, because they have these overhead staff for doing the marketing, for doing the communication, HR guys, learning and development teams and things like that. So they're used to living with overheads. They've got used to it. But the guys in especially in the US, they're good at cutting the flap. So they come straight to the point. So that's the best part of it. But yes, getting paid in dollars and then converting it, that is a pain. So that's the negative side of it.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Hi, this is a question for Ashley. Have you guys done anything where you basically structured your learning? Because as you said, internet is a wonderful place and everybody gets that learning. And you also mentioned that for a freelancer, mediocrity is something that you can't really go by. So have you done anything where you structure your learning and continuously upskill yourself?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the projects which I have been doing with TapChief is Satwa, and there were a couple of few components that were really new to me. Couple of new services that I had never even heard of. So yeah, definitely that was a huge learning and was an effort in learning from my side. Yeah, that's always required. I feel everyone needs to sharpen the knife always if they want to survive in the industry for a long time.
One of the reasons why I started freelancing was because I'm a very jack of all arts kind of person. I want to do a lot of things. I can't do the same thing for too long. So there are some wildly different things that I'm engaged in and I love it. For example, I was telling him sometime back that the problem that Bangalore is going to face is water. Tech is not a problem, traffic is not a problem, water is going to be an existential problem. So as a techie, and we talk about great solutions to great problems, and engineers are supposed to be solving problems and all that, and you don't solve your day-to-day livelihood problems, So this is one thing that probably interested me about a couple of years back, and so I went back to the learning board. I did a formal certification on urban water management, and then now one of my very favorite activities is apartment auditing. What we do? We go to various apartments which are water stressed. We collect data about their how much of roof area they have and how much of pervious soil they have and how much of recharging. So you calculate. There's a lot of engineering mathematics involved. It's not an ordinary job, So you find out how much of what is their pump capacity to be it 2 horsepower, 3 horsepower, how much of water is going up, and how much of roof space is there, how much of square meters of collectible water is coming, what is the density of water, what is the pressure it should fall on, what is the pressure of water at 2nd floor, at 10th floor. There's a lot of science involved. So we are trying to develop a tool, for calculating the level of water stress an apartment is in. Now this business, you won't believe, we started with say 2 apartments. Today I am hard pressed for time because apartments are at the queue. They are like, please come and audit our apartment, tell us what are we doing wrong, where is the problem, because most of them are relying on tankers and stuff like that, So this is tech, but it's not tech for an end user, For an end user it's water. At the background there's a lot of tech. So now this is something I would probably never have ventured into. But as an individual it was an interest area. So that is how I took it up. So as a freelancer I believe that you should never straitjacket yourself and say I'll do this, I'm good at this, I'll do only this. Because then the chance of getting obsolete and you become a very one skill person. That's precisely the downside of a corporate job, right? You become a very one skill person. So as a freelancer, be very open about what you can do. And as you were saying, 80% you're confident of if you can do a job. I would say, because probably the experience gives me overconfidence. Even if I'm 50% confident that I can do a job, I am outrageous about it. That's I'll do. Thank you.
So in India, especially if you are freelancing, have you had any issues with clients not paying you on time? So if you are basically freelancing in India, have you ever had an issue like clients not paying you on time, or maybe you have delivered the work and they are not paid in half and all those things, especially being a freelancer, because they are not serious about, you're not a private company, you're a freelancer. So how do you deal with that?
Okay, I have never faced such kind of issue till now. Yeah, definitely there have been delays, but there was no such situations where the payment was not being made or partial payment was made. So it has been hunky-dory for me till now.
See, there are two categories of non-payment. One is his inability to pay. So that is a genuine reason. You know, he's a startup, he's a struggling guy, he has great potential. You can see that he's going places, but he needs time. So for these kind of customers, we have to be empathetic about that. You'll have to wait and watch and support if you're ready, if you can afford it. Mind you, I am sitting over a pile of cash because I had a long run in the industry. You know? So I'm not hard pressed for money. So I can afford to give him that space and say, boss, it's okay, you can pay me after 3 months. But that's probably not a luxury a younger person will have. So that's one aspect of inability to pay. But the other aspect is a more malicious aspect, where they know that you don't have an organization behind you and you're rather helpless and it's easy to cheat you out of your money. This happens a lot. It hasn't happened much to me, but it has happened to a couple friends and acquaintances. The only thing that works is constant follow-up. You really can't do anything beyond that, right? So constant follow-up, and if he's a guy in your own town, just show up, go show your face. So what else can you do? What more can you do? Just remember one thing, that you're asking for your own due. So इसमें क्या शर्म यार? So it's okay. You follow up, you find out. So keep your ego aside and just get it done. Because for him, it is the lowest job in his value chain. Closing a loop with a freelancer. So you're like, okay, what's urgent about it? So you'll have to be pesky. What to do?
But there is an add-on to that. I hope I'm audible. So there is an add-on to that. Take the same example. What you said has happened to me as a content writer, freelance. It was one of my first projects after starting freelance writing with freelancer.com. So it's all from there. So you never know who. Again, talking of personal experiences. Sorry, it's deviating the topic. So. You never know if it is a direct client you're working with, or if it's a middleman, or if it's a middle of a middleman, or whatever it is. Somebody contacts you from there saying, okay, we'll give you the work. We get on a discussion, chat goes on, work starts. They'll say we pay you once in a week or once in 2 weeks, or however you agree on it. Everything is on, and then you start working. It happened with me. I started to work for like 2 weeks. Almost like it was in dollars. He said, I'll pay you $7 an hour or whatever it is. I said, okay, fine. Again, as you said, conversion in Indian rupees sounded interesting at that point of time because it was my first month of freelancing. I said, okay, $7 an hour, that's fine. Whatever it is, I'll bill you for that. And after that, what happened was 2 weeks, no payment, 3 weeks, no payment. I almost wrote 20-25 articles. The due was almost like $400, approximately close to $350 to $400. And as you say, isme kya hai, we can go and keep asking, but what happened is the guy blocked his Skype account or whatever is it. So you never know who you are working with in this case. So how do you deal with these challenges? I mean, that's a question I had in my mind, and when this was brought up, actually I'm trying to link both the questions.
See, the first mistake that I can point out in what you've done is you've done too much without being paid. See, you should have tested the waters, right? You do 2-3 articles, wait for his payment, see if he's responsive, and then you invest effort further.
He said he has it all happened. Everything happened. After a week, he said, I have a bank transfer problem. I'll transfer next week. Okay. Again, you're testing waters at that point of time. I said, okay, let me jump a few more steps forward. Second week, he said, some more problem. He did something. And again, it's the beginning stages of freelancing. I'm talking about that time.
I understand.
And again,
you're insecure about what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And you need money again as a family person. You have quit your job and you have a family who's dependent on you and things like that. So money is the need of it at that point of time. So I realized that mistake today and I regret on it today. But after like almost 8 to 9 months of, a year, close to a year of freelancing right now.
Did you get paid finally?
That customer's gone. So what I did was, what else can I do? I had almost 20-25 articles. I started building a WordPress website of my own. I put all those articles into that and I started promoting it. As simple as that, I couldn't get to.
At least next time he quotes your article, he is plagiarizing.
Correct. So it's all there on the internet. It's all on my website, srinamarina.com. All the articles are there. And that became my portfolio. So actually, that became a
So you gained something out of it as well.
So nothing but it became a portfolio.
Successful in life, you upskill yourself and then you reach the ceiling and you reach that midlife crisis, right? So like, what do you think, like what made you change to freelancing? Did you feel freelancing was a way out of, coming out of that life where your work was redundant? And if yes, then what does it take to be a freelancer?
I don't know. See, there are various manifestations of the midlife crisis, one, of course, is women, marriage, kids, your priorities change and career is not important anymore. That's one direction. Then there are some people who have this one burning idea in their head. It doesn't let you sleep, it doesn't let you eat. That kind of obsessive ambition towards one target. Such people end up in the startup space. Because yes or no?
I feel like such a big word.
Yes or no?
In many ways, but I never work for anyone.
So the problem is you can't get it out. Until you are actually there and you start your company, you can't see, you can't eat. So such guys land up in the startup space. There are some guys who want to sample everything. I like this also, I like that also, I like that also. So for such guys, freelancing is an excellent avenue. Where somebody else is paying for you to, diversify your skill set. So that's a nice way of looking at freelancing.
It's a very positive way.
I want to know what it takes for the freelancing market or our ecosystem to develop in India. Because in the West, it's already there, and if an agency calls you, they'll ask, are you permanent or contract? And they really know, and you know what way you're going. But and also, if you're working if you're good in your skills and you're working for contracting for a long time, what it takes for the hiring managers to know. Typically, hiring managers or project managers from big companies who are doing a big project, they will look at your availability and your past experience, and then they'll call you, and if you're available immediately, they'll take you. So that's what it takes. What it takes in India for hiring managers to look at, there is space for contractors, and we can look at them who can come in and add value immediately, and also the work is only for 3 months or 6 months typically. To fill that gap, they look at those people, pool of resources. So, no, it will take a long time for that, but it has to be
I can go for this. So, see, I think you kind of fundamentally ask the most typical question any investor asks me so far across the many rounds that I have raised. Wherein that, what does it really take for this whole ecosystem to really take off and, maybe be at par with the West, right? Or in my opinion, actually beat it, because we have a much larger workforce than any Western country can compete with, right? So I think there are a bunch of things that I tell people, both as investors and even across various forums. And I think there are two sides of the coin, firstly, right? What we all need to appreciate is that there is a business, there is independent workers, and then hopefully there are platforms like us bridging that gap. Now, when you look at, typically something doesn't take off because there are some fundamental issues, right? And that exists on both sides. So we spoke about trust. That lack of trust exists across the spectrum, right? I think freelancing is obviously one area where it is really profound, but across India as a market or a lot of the developing markets, you look at retail, you look at it at anything, right? It has been the case. One example I keep kind of quoting is that in 2007, nobody thought that you could be buying a fridge or buying a TV, 10 years from now, and that be getting shipped to your house. And today, across like thousands of pin codes by virtue of some of the largest e-com players, that's happened. Which is fundamentally user behavior change. I think the whole concept of independent working is very similar in my opinion, right? Wherein on the professional side there are a bunch of things. Hey, am I working with somebody who's actually giving me work? Will you actually pay me for it? Will you pay me on time? And as both of them mentioned, will you respect me even if I'm not a full-time employee? Right? On the businesses side, they also have a lack of trust. Of course, the purpose of this meetup was to get the independent or freelancers perspective. But given that we work with so many well-intentioned customers and businesses on our platform, who engage with tons of talent on our platform, we see that despite best intentions, they have some qualms. And that's very, very natural, right? Because they have similar thoughts that, hey, if I pay, will you take my money and run away? When I give you some work, will you do it with that level of quality even though you're not my full-time employee, right? Even though you're stepping in for a period of time. So, a lot of businesses we here keep saying that Indian professionals are not professional, right? So that challenge I think exists across the board. Now, coming down to the answer in my opinion, is that one, there needs to be a lot of education, and with forums like these and initiatives like these, that's our effort in a very minuscule way. Like we have our entire kind of social audience kind of hearing this entire chat live and so on. Largely because we believe that a lot of education needs to happen in many ways, right? And that will require time, money, energy, and so on and so forth. And the hope is that we are the flag bearers of that in some way. Secondly, I think that education then will trickle down to, again, on both sides, how do you onboard a full-time employee versus a freelancer, when they kind of start at a company, right? Most companies we know today don't even have a concept in the first place, right? Because there is
it's not a worded contract, it's both the parties.
So I think in many ways, that's why we call the professionals on our platform as solopreneurs, because we feel the freelancer word, the contractor word, etc. have all been unfortunately not put in the best light, right? So I think it's education largely and enabling both businesses as well as professionals with impeccable technology which kind of solves this problem. Because in our opinion as Tapchi, we fundamentally believe that this cannot change and this behavior will not happen unless there is significant amount of technology involved in order to solve different pieces of the puzzle. So in e-commerce, back in the day it was nobody knew how to discover products. If I pay for it, payment systems were broken. Ultimately, if I was successful, will it get shipped, etc. Right? I think today, when it comes to freelancing, we're in a very, very similar phase. Right? Nobody knows where to discover the best gigs. For businesses, they don't know where to discover the best talent. Even if they discover them, how do we work with each other? What are the best practices? How can we kind of go through this? Then the set of logistics from sharing tools, data, payments, legal contracts, it's endless, right? So some of the things that we're trying to do at Tapchi is to solve this entire full stack, which is where we are huge believers of technology playing a very important role. And the last thing I would say is that, I think none of this will culminate if it is done purely in a very transactional way, right? I think a lot of it has to happen in a community-driven way, where it's a lot of intangibles as well as tangibles, right? So I think that's another piece we are huge believers of, and we hope to be doing more such things in order to encourage this. And hopefully 10 years from now, somebody can quote us as an example in order to revitalize and catalyze another industry altogether. So thank you so much for really gracing us at our H2, and thank you everybody who kind of took our time on a Thursday evening. It's Thursday, right? Yeah, it's Thursday. Yeah. On a Thursday evening to show up. Thank you so much, guys. It's a real pleasure. Please do stick around. A lot of us around, all of us do different aspects of Tapchi, right from sales, customer success, marketing, a lot of the things that we want to do for our users. The people who are doing it day in, day out are all around you. Please take some time out, interact with us, share some of the things that you think we could do better, and I can promise you will. Cheers. Thank you guys.